President Trump won the Catholic vote, and pro-life leaders praised his early move to ban federal funds for international groups performing abortions. However, his executive order on immigration is controversial for many Catholics. In a statement, Bishop Joe Vasquez, the chairman of the Committee on Migration for the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, denounced the move, saying, in part, "We will work vigorously to ensure that refugees are humanely welcomed without sacrificing our security or our core values as Americans." Joining us now is Chad Pecknold, Associate Professor of Theology at Catholic University of America. Welcome back to the program.
Always good to be with you.
This is a very controversial topic. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, as we just heard, is not happy with this. And on their website, they put out 3 basic Catholic social teaching principles. One, that people have the right to migrate to sustain their lives or those of their family. And then 2, that a country has the right to regulate its borders. Aren't those 2 things at odds?
Yeah, in a perfect world, they shouldn't be at odds because really they are both upholding the individual good and the communal good, right? And the individual good and the communal good should fit together in a well-ordered society. But actually, we don't have a well-ordered society now. We have a conflict in which human persons are not, the dignity of a human person in the womb is not being respected. We've got a crisis in America around the person. We've also got a communal crisis of guarding the common good. And this is part of our refugee crisis, is that we're accepting more people into this country than any other country in the world. And it's a threat to our national security, a threat to our sense of a common purpose. And so these 2 duties are at odds right now.
Let's look at what Speaker of the House Paul Ryan had to say today. He talked about protecting the border.
I support the Refugee Resettlement Program. We're a generous country. It's important. But we can be generous and watch our national security at the same time.
So is that the point that you're making? What Paul Ryan is saying is that there is this balance?
I think the point is, Paul Ryan is right to say we are a generous country. We have to be a country that is morally admirable. Right? We want to be a morally admirable, but that means that we have to get our house in order. We have to be a virtuous people. We have to, in a sense, establish a sense of a common good, and that is precisely what is in crisis right now.
So the USCCB third principle says that a country must regulate its borders with justice and mercy. Yeah. How is justice and mercy defined? Yeah,
I think in a sense the USCCB's interest is especially to preserve families, to keep families together, to advocate for some due process rights that they actually don't have right now under our laws, to actually ensure that displaced persons are treated with respect and dignity. This is the fundamental principle, is really respect for the human person.
Is it fair to compare church teachings on life and the unborn to immigration? Simply because when it comes to life issues, we know that there is no right and wrong. There's only wrong when it comes to abortion, and that's what the church says. On immigration, it seems so much more muddy.
It's complex because with the right to life, Pope Francis says the right to life is the first among human rights. Now, the duty to care for the stranger who comes from without is also there, but that's a duty to care which always comes in tension with communal duties to one's neighbors in your own country. And so there's a kind of muddiness of prudential reasoning. Where do you draw the line when that duty to care for your neighbor comes into conflict with your common good? With the person in the womb, they're essential to the common good. They're not in conflict with the common good. So there's really an absolute kind of priority on the unborn.
And this is prudential judgment, is the term that we're using, prudential judgment, yeah. Taking in all of this into account.
We take into all of that into account as we measure up the principles in conflict.
All right, thank you so much. Chad Pecknold, Associate Professor of Theology at the Catholic University of America.